Oh, are we on? Come on, give us a break here, Theresia.
Our music isn't working today.
Our music is working. You're fired. Scholtes, done.
My very first
that
episode and there's no music, we shan't work together again.
In case anybody's wondering who uses words like shan't, on the left today, and I will take a picture and post it on my Twitter account, @ProfBruce, here in a second, it's Scott Williams. And Scott is a sandy-colored hair, evil marketing genius from Ibero. So, Scott Williams, introduce yourself.
I'm Scott Williams, and I'm an evil marketing genius, according to Bruce here. Is that good?
Yeah. Well,
my actual. If you want the actual.
Oh no! You got to get the picture out there on Twitter.
No, I don't want my picture taken. Stop.
Really?
Stop. No.
Okay.
I hate having my picture. Don't.
Too late.
All right, but you're not tweeting. Don't you dare.
Theresia,
those two words don't go
into
into
She's such a beautiful young woman that you can spend time.
Tweet pictures of Theresia. She's the photogenic one.
Well, actually, I have to stop you right there, Scott. I saw Janet Culper's. Do not delete that, you son of a gun. No, you can't. I'm not liking this very much. I think we should start the show again. Did you delete it?
I did.
Oh, my God. All right. I guess I will just have to tell you that Scott is a boyish-looking, sandy-haired, black-shirted, cool dude who runs Ibero, and he's a guy who did the rebrand for Exploring.org last year. He did the quantum entity site, BruceMFirestone.com for me. Scott, what are the other I know you have some huge clients and big contracts. You want to tell us about it?
First of all, thanks for saying that I did all the work. That's awesome. My staff will be really happy about that. It's my job to take all the credit, and it's just their job for me to dump all the stuff on.
All right.
So about Ibero. Very quickly, the company started about 7 years ago. We have, a ton of clients. Some of them include everything. Who we work for? Hewlett-Packard, OpenText Corporation, Symantec, Trend Micro, Marshall, ScriptLogic, some of the largest companies in the world. And we also manage locally, if people know any of the companies in Ottawa, we manage the marketing for some of the largest companies in Ottawa, including Nitro IT Business Solutions, StoneShare, RJR Innovations, Blue Arc, Hosted Business Phone Internet Services. So, that's what we do. There you go.
So they don't really do a lot, actually.
No.
Primarily, I just, hang out, watch TV a lot.
One of the things we're going to do today, Theresia and Scott, is we do want to talk about this event that's happening on Wednesday. It's called Artifex. But Scott, 7 months or 8 months ago, somehow you got dragged into all of this. Tell us, how that happened.
So the Gestapo showed up at my house, and no, that's not how it worked. How did it work? So I was introduced to you by my good friend and colleague, Mr. Larry Poirier, who is the Nitro IT Business Solutions. And he put us in touch with you guys saying, hey, these guys are looking for a new brand for Explorium.
Yeah.
And you and I met, and the rest is history. We became partners in crime. Partners in crime, maybe? Is that what it is? We immediately hit it off. And so after the Explorium scenario, you graciously, asked us to be a part of your new book and Artifex and everything else. So I guess that brings us to here. So,
we roped him in early. We won't let him go.
Is that it? Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm chained to the desk right now. Somebody please help me.
Yeah.
And Scott's going to be a permanent co-host with Bruce, right?
Yeah.
For this show.
Well, we lost our last one to pregnancy, but I don't think that's going to happen to Scott. What do you think?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Jennifer just, she's having a baby, and that's a priority, and I completely get that. But here we have Scott Williams with us. Now, Scott, tell us about some of you have a family.
I do. I have 2 wonderful, amazing children, and 8 and 10 years old, and married to my best friend, Karen. So we've been married for 10 years, but best friends for 20, and so it's life is good.
What'd you do on Father's Day?
Hung out with my wife and kids. We
and you missed the pre-screening.
I did.
Incredible show.
I did.
I'm forgiven.
I know. It's terrible. I was doing that horrible thing of having a family dinner downtown with my wife and kids on Father's Day.
Where'd you go?
The Break, because we live there. It's terrible. That's the only place we seem to eat anyway.
Yeah. But, and how old are the kids?
8 and 10.
8, 10. All right. Well, they can really do stuff now.
Oh.
I mean, 8, 10. They're real people.
My daughter's already a professional ballerina. My son is an incredibly talented graphic artist that already has his
No
own.
way.
Oh yeah.
Where does he get that from?
No idea. Not me. His mother's the artist, actually. She's amazing.
Well, tell me about the cover that you did for Quantum Entity, We Are All One. I mean, you know, I think I'm getting more compliments on the cover than on what's between the covers, Scott. So I don't know if that's
not
good or bad. You know, when we were young guys, we should always go out, if we're trying to find a date, we should always go out as you were brand A, and you should always have one of your friends who wasn't quite as good looking. He would be brand A minus, and the girls would look at A and A minus, they'd choose A. But in this case, A is your cover, and A minus is the content. So this is bad for me.
It's I don't know. What do you want to know about the cover?
I want to know. Listen, the front cover is quite abstract. What does it mean?
To me, when I looked at the book and even like the original manuscript, here's the thing: is I think that any novel unto itself is, and I'm. I mean, I love to read, I always have, and to me, novels are there to spike the imagination. And I think that, we're so inundated on a daily basis with, everything from reality TV to advertising that is so incredibly literal that the last thing I wanted to do was make a literal cover for your book that just had, a very specific image. And I think that, I wanted that somewhat, we'll call it ethereal approach to the graphic design element for your book. And so I guess that's what popped into my mind is what I tried to translate to the design of the cover itself.
Well, I was being, a bit facetious, but the reviews of the cover art have been superb, and I'm really proud of the work you did. Now, the back cover, it has an old guy on it, which I didn't really want, but you put him on there anyway. That was me. But it also has the...
You could have grabbed my iPhone and just deleted the photo.
You are such a gut. Can't say that on radio. So Scott, tell us about the back cover. There's a film strip there, and there's 3 young people on the back cover, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, here's the greater picture, right? Is that when we look at the book Quantum Entity, it's not just a book, and I think that was, again, we go back to our relationship, and when it formed, I remember a very cold winter's day back in beginning of January on a Sunday afternoon, and going out for coffee, and
it was you, me, and Janet Alper from PrototypeD.
Yep, and it was when we sat down and you pitched this book idea to us, and we very much wanted to be involved, and I think the thing that came out of this is that, and very quickly, like within the first 10 minutes of our conversation, is that we realized this wasn't just a book. It was everything from a book to a film to something that is a living, breathing entity out on the web that has all of these different, facets and moving parts to it that I think, unite people and bring them together for a common interest. And so when even developing the back of the book, I wanted to make sure that people realized that it was more than just the book. And it's, you ask yourself, okay, well, how do I present this? Because I don't, I'm not just going to litter it with a bunch of URLs and that kind of thing. But it's, so, working with Janik, we got the amazing captures directly out of the film that he's created. And we wanted to just represent the fact that this, it starts with the book and the film and moves forward from there.
Now Scott, you are a brand fascist. And
as you've noticed, right?
I have noticed that.
I am a pain in the every time it comes.
Correct. But let me explain to the listeners something that is, I'm 60 and it's fairly new to me. I learned a lot from Erica Godwin, and what I didn't learn from Erica about branding, I've learned from Scott. And what I found is that I don't think there's a real clear understanding of why a brand is important. I know you know that, and I know Erica knows that, and probably lots of people know it, but I didn't know it, and my students didn't know it. And here's the way I see it. You build a brand, so you have a marketing program, you're building a brand, the brand builds trust, and trust allows you to create sales. because people don't like to buy for people they don't like and don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a excellent marketing and you have an excellent brand, you've created an aura of trust around your product or service, around you as a person, and then people like to buy for people they like and trust. Mm-hmm. So I am a recent convert to that. The rebrand that you did for exploring.org and, of course, the brand you've done for Quantum Entity is world class. You know, you came to marketing and branding, though, from a very different educational background.
Yeah, I mean, education-wise, I started off in general arts and science, moved to English Lit, and then after I left there, I actually ended up teaching at a couple different schools, both art schools as well as Algonquin College and things for a couple of years. And then out of that, I guess, this would be mid-'90s, I got roped into the magazine business and stayed there for several years. And then from there moved to corporate communications, which then...
And who were you with? There was a big company in there somewhere.
I was actually responsible for corporate communications for MBNA Canada.
Yeah, MBNA, just a little tiny bank, right?
Just
your neighborhood corner store.
Little
right?
Fortune 100.
Yeah.
Just mom and pop organization.
Mom and pop,
Yeah. But again, see, the thing is, it's interesting, right? It's because from magazines to corporate to Marcom, to me, I mean, it may seem somewhat disparate. I think in my mind it's all kind of one and the same.
Right.
When it comes to the branding aspect, it's interesting because the corporate side is probably where that heavy-handed drop the hammer kind of scenario comes from. Right. But at the same time, when you're managing the corporate communications for a company that has 30, 40,000 employees plus and offices globally, you have to have that heavy-handed approach, is that there's a lot of rules and regulations and process that go behind that. And I think when I moved from there into the Marcom...
So you found it really a little constricting, I guess.
It was. I mean, but like any corporate infrastructure is, it has to be. When you have that many moving parts, there's not a lot of room for...
freelancing.
Yeah, for making stuff up as you go along, right?
Making stuff up.
Yeah, so it's when you take that kind of process and you move it to even smaller companies, it is easy to create brand and marketing communications that theoretically, I mean, you describe as quote unquote world class, whatever that may be, but I think it really is just ensuring that you have all the scenarios of good marketing process in place.
Yeah, but you're leaving something out, which maybe I shouldn't say because it's your differentiated value, it's the secret sauce, and that is you believe in measuring, setting goals and measuring stuff.
Well,
is that
okay?
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, here's the thing. It's not to rant, and I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah, you don't know how to keep it short, Scott.
Yeah.
Neither do you, though.
Oh, that hurts, Scott.
Oh, that's it.
See that dagger in the back there? Would you take it out, please?
So, okay, tell you what.
I didn't know you could do that, Teresa. She's so nice on the outside.
He told
but
me
on the inside.
I'll grab the stick, you grab the phone book.
All right.
And now you're into it. Okay. So no, here's my quick rant, is that when it comes to marketing, honestly, and I don't mean this to sound arrogant, or because it's not.
Arrogant?
No, not at all. Hey, I'm in marketing, of course.
Yes,
there's a little bit of arrogance.
all the time.
Exactly. But no, but here's what it is that I'm sometimes almost ashamed to say that I work in the business of marketing. Because I think a lot of the times if you look at any company and any of the divisions within a company, whether it's finance, personnel, whatever that may be, there's very strict and documented processes for each one of them.
Right.
It's been my experience that, for the most part, any company you walk into and you ask to speak to the marketing process side of things, you get that tilted head kind of look, or we're marketing. We have a color copier and we ship the trade show booth on time and manage the website. What more do you want?
Right.
But there's nothing that is quote unquote tangible, right? If you look at this concept of, you have a board of directors or the managing, the managers within a company, the VP of sales, he or she gets to stand up and say, we made this amount of money for a company this quarter, this month, whatever it may be.
ROI.
But marketing usually stands up and says, we spent this much money.
Yeah,
and then, you get into that scenario of marketing's always the first to go. And
I had that experience a long time ago now in the 1980s when we were invested in a company called Rental X Tool and Equipment. and they got into some trouble. It was a recession, and the first thing they did was they cut the marketing budget. And I became a director there and an investor there a long time ago, and I said, I don't think so. And our marketing, our secret sauce for our marketing couldn't have been any simpler. We had something that was postcard size, and maybe a little bigger than that, twice the size of a typical postcard, and we would drop those off spring and fall. So in the spring you need, aeration tools for your garden, and in the fall you need pumps because you got water in the basement or something. So we would send those things out twice a year. It cost about $200,000 a year to do this all across Ontario. Everyone would get it. And so they said, sure, let's chop the $200,000. We'll save $200,000. Well, the next year, their sales went down by $500,000.
Wow.
First thing I did was I said, what we're going to do is instead of chopping our marketing budget, we're going to chop our overhead budget. And we cut the administration down, not by a third, not by two-thirds, but by three-quarters, moved to a much smaller office, and we took about $250,000 or $300,000 and put it back into marketing, and we tweaked it a little bit. Within a couple of years, they had swung from about $1 million a year loss to about a $1.7 million profit, and it's the kind of money that my wife likes to call IGA money, money you can touch, feel, and spend. Because that's important to her.
Yeah.
And, you get that.
Amen.
Amen.
As it is to most people.
As it is to most people, exactly. So the point I'm making is that when people see marketing as a cost center, I think those are executives who will not be with the company very long.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Is that, as you were saying, I mean, you can talk about Ivero's secret sauce or whatever. It's not so secret, only in the sense that, for us, I learned a very long time ago that if our company was going to be successful, we had to show real ROI. It's not about how many campaigns you sent or how many leads you generated. It's how much from a dollar value did marketing apply to sales.
Yeah, I don't think Ivero is ever going to be in a period where you don't have a lineup of clients and customers. But I'd like to change the subject just for a minute, Scott.
Yeah,
I want to turn to somebody. I said to her this morning, I saw the pre-screening last night of Quantum Entity, We Are All One short film by Janet Alford and PrototypeD.org. I saw it last night at the Space, 139 Bank Street, Suite 200, and there were about 30 people there in the focus group, and Janet played the film for us. It's 22 minutes long, and everybody can see it if they're coming to Artifex at the National Gallery of Canada on Wednesday, June 20th. That's 2 days from now. Gulp. Doors open at 6, and you'll see a film. This film is beyond brilliant. And what I found interesting about, what I liked about it, and what some people were sort of taken aback a little bit, is that the film is quite different from the book. I mean, it's definitely based on the book, and you can definitely see the book that I wrote, Quantum Entity, has influenced Janet Alford. But the director of the film editor, and the cast and crew, and the screenwriters have taken it in a new direction. So Janet told me last night, he doesn't call it Quantum Entity, We're All One short film. He calls it Quantum Entity, We're All One short film Q Edition. What's Q Edition? Well, you'll see it on Wednesday. Now, you weren't there, Theresia, but I have to tell you, you were marvelous in the film. I just loved your role. What was that whole experience like for you?
It was interesting.
Interesting can mean a lot of things. Interesting good or interesting not so good?
It was good in the end. You don't really know what to expect when you're going into something you've never done before, I guess, in any regard. And I was open to do it, play a role in a film, and I thought it was going to be a little easier than it was. But I have a huge respect, even more so than before, for actors and actresses and just everyone in that field. It's really hard, actually. And I think the even more challenging part of that was that it was all done through green screen imagery. So we were talking to ourselves, we're talking to a fake wall, or having to act.
Someone holding a broom up to give you a point of reference.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
or a flashlight. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one of the scenes. We're outside. It's me and another fella. We're just chatting at a table, and I'm supposed to be, cautious of my surroundings because we're talking about very important information that can't be, you don't want anyone walking by.
Yeah.
So they, glance to your right and left and look like you're a little paranoid and looking around and making sure no one can hear what you say. Meanwhile, I'm in a room that's covered by green screen, and there's nothing to look at. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look to the left. Is that where the tree is? Like, you don't know. Yeah. And, the film director is so creative that he sees everything in his head. Right. And it's really hard, well, for me at least, to kind of jump on that.
Yeah, I asked Jess Edwards, how do you do a drug scene, or how do you do a scene where you're drunk or something like that? I mean, without actually being drunk, or subject to the influence of other substances. And she said that sometimes if she has to do a scene where there's alcohol involved, she'll actually just smell the alcohol. Yeah. Or I guess some other things, and that she doesn't have to actually. That gets her into it. And I think there are tricks that you would learn. But you were a rookie, I think, here. Or had you done some work at school?
No, never. Never did anything.
Oh, my God.
So when you're in front of the green screen, does the director give you any kind of reference of what
is going
he perceives in his mind of where things are going to be placed or that type of thing? Like,
Janik had a vision from, I think, day one, before he even saw it. He probably had it before he even knew he had it. And he knew exactly what he thought in his head. But, I read the book. A lot of the cast didn't, which was probably even harder for them. So at least I had a head start because I had read the book.
So what do you think of the book?
It was okay.
It's really another dagger.
But you bring up an interesting point, right? Is that let's talk about the book from an actor's perspective. Is that so many interviews that I've seen with actors is that if it's a remake of a movie, if it's it's based on a book or a play or whatever, they don't want to read the book, see the movie, read the play, see anything referenced because they want to bring
their own character.
Yeah, they do. And can I add to that? People were asking me what was I disappointed with the movie, and I said, absolutely not. This is a fabulous work of art. And, if Janik had taken my book and put my book up on the screen, for me, it would be like looking at a picture of me instead of looking at a picture of my wife.
Yeah.
Right? If I see a picture of my wife, there's all kinds of little points in my brain that light up. I love her.
Yeah.
And if you see a picture of me on the screen, I can assure you, not the same reaction. So the fact that it is definitely the book, it's definitely the character, he's captured the essence of the book, but he gave it its own art form, its own direction, its own Q edition. I'm fine with that.
Now, I have a question for you, Bruce. Yeah. As far as the movie, now that you've seen it, and we have, an actress sitting in the room with us, when you wrote this book and you had the image in your mind, even like, even as a writer, it's like, you get this idea in your head, it's like you can almost hear the voice in your head, you can view it. How close was it?
Well, as I said, it was.
This was interpreted by someone completely outside of the.
It definitely captures the soul of the book, and I'm so excited about it. I just couldn't stop being excited about it. What I think, for me, and you know this, Teresa, as well. I mean, I'm very close to Teresa, very close to you, Scott, and I'm an emotional guy. And I know you know that. And, I retired from the university last year when I turned 60, even though my dean said, probably my last year had been maybe my best in terms of teaching, in terms of research, publishing, writing, whatever. I could go on for a few more years. And so I said, no, I think at 60 I will stop. But what I didn't tell him is that the real reason was I didn't want her one day to be 70, which hopefully I will be, and look back and have done exactly the same things in the last 10 years as I did in the previous 10 years. And it was in my mind that I've always been a great storyteller. I am a good writer, and all the writing I've done millions of words, but it's all been professional writing. But I wanted to try my hand at telling a story, maybe a great story. And as you know, Quantum Entity has 5 themes in it. It has the theme of business story. And I wanted to write a great business story because, frankly, in my opinion, most novel, most fiction, works of fiction, when they tell a business story, it's horrible. And I recall going back to the 80s, I've said it to you guys before, going back to the 1980s when I saw, that show Dallas, which is now coming back. Mm-hmm. Larry Hagman is back. But when I saw that show back in the 80s and you had Larry Hagman there as running a major oil company and, 10 o'clock in the morning, you visit J.R. Ewing and he'd say, so son, do you want bourbon or scotch? Well, I don't know any CEOs at 10 o'clock in the morning of successful companies that are drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I always thought here we have the picture of the business, whether you're looking at madmen who drink and smoke and do other things. Now, and that isn't just
So no, wait, though. I'm shocked. Yeah. I am shocked because what you're saying is we can't believe everything that we see on television.
Yeah, I guess that is what I'm saying. Gee, wow. So
my life has changed.
Your life is changing. This show changes people's lives. Wow. So what I thought we could do...
An epiphany in my first show.
I have helped 168 businesses start up. I started the Ottawa Senators. I started Ottawa Business News, which is now Ottawa Business Journal, and 168 other enterprises I've helped start, and most of them in Ottawa, most of them successful. And I thought I could write a great business story. Okay, well, so what? Then I said I could add science and science fiction and engineering because I am an engineer and I have a PhD and I know something about some of this stuff. So, okay, science and engineering. Then I said, okay, I want to introduce politics and the law. As you know, the central question in Quantum Entity in Book 1 is you have these artificially intelligent creatures created by Damien Bell, this marvelous physicist and engineer who lives in around 2050, mid-part of this century. And these are artificially intelligent creatures that I think you have seen, both of you have seen what they look like now. And these are creatures who have come. They are intelligent creatures who have come to join humanity on its voyage to its destiny together, whatever that might be. And so I think it gives me an opportunity to argue a question that I think we're going to face, Scott and Theresia, very soon, which is if we create artificial intelligence, at what point do those creatures have self-determination? At what point do they get human rights? And I think we're going to face that, and it may not take 40 years to get there. So I wanted to write some of the business and politics that go along with it. Then I wanted to have some action and adventure, and I tried to write a book without any car chases, without any gunplay. Now, I didn't quite succeed. It is 560 pages long, but I pretty much did it without a lot of car chases, without a lot of guns. And then the last thing was to write a great love story, and then to resolve the love story in a way that maybe isn't MTV Networks or Much Music. It isn't, Mean Girls. It's a way to resolve a love triangle that is it's quite different. It's more mature, I think. And I wanted to show...
So mature like Twilight?
50 Shades of Grey? No. Okay. No, nothing like that. No, that's really mature.
That's the fourth book.
That's not coming out here. But I wanted to show people who have moral principles and yet fail. And the other thing I did, Scott and Theresia, is that the characters, some of the evil characters are not all evil, and some of the good characters aren't all good, because I think that's probably true. Yeah. None of us are perfect. Certainly, I'm not. It's we're an effort. So I did this, and I'm weaving them in and out, and some of my friends who are real novelists are thinking, oh my God, you're attempting a trilogy on your first go, and 5 themes, and then a 6th theme appeared, became a spiritual journey as well. So it became very complicated. But much as you were saying earlier, Scott, these characters, especially the women characters, the woman that you played, Ellen Brooks, and the character Jess Edwards plays Nell, they were such powerful characters. Book 1 was supposed to be written entirely from Damien's point of view, because I'm most comfortable writing from a guy's point of view. But Ellen Brooks and Nell are such strong characters that about a third to 2/3 of the way in, the women take over. And that was one of the great experiences of my life, trying to write the last half of the book from a woman's point of view. I don't know if I succeeded, Theresia. Maybe you can tell me.
Yeah, you definitely did. I said that. I read one of the first drafts. I haven't read the final, so I still...
You're a little busy doing something else, though.
Yeah, I know. But no, you did. You captured, I think that's why it will hopefully be a successful novel, is because you can see it. Anyone who reads it can relate and really see the movie in their head and go forth with it. I mean, I personally, what I liked best about the book was the dialogue. I mean, the story is really good. There's tons of business background. There's politics, like you said. There's a love story, which
but you like
love
stories,
of course.
We're both
suckers for it. It was really the dialogue that was, sometimes it was almost to the point where I would flip a few pages to get back to the dialogue because it was so strong. And I think a few people had that same review.
See, what I'm interested in is that as the reviews come in, and again, I mean, aside from being involved with the book from a marketing perspective and everything, is that when you look at, say, for instance, we talk about the business scenarios within the book, is that you made a really good point, is that, you wanted to make it real and not what you usually see on television or, you know.
Well, yeah, but there's one thing that, do we have a caller there, Ken?
No, sorry, just reading.
There is one thing, though, that I did learn. I have known some people in Hollywood. I knew Stan Jaffe when he was with the Rangers running Paramount. I knew Mike Eisner when he was running Disney from my relationship with the Sens and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, now called the Ducks. But there is one thing that you can't do with a novel, and it can't be slow. Right? Mm-hmm. A modern novel can't be slow. So I wanted to do all of those things. I wanted it to reflect a reality, but most of our realities are we get up and we brush our teeth. And there's not a lot of teeth brushing in the book. But I want to change the subject now a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you, Theresia, and Scott, too, a little bit about the show that's coming up on Wednesday at Artifex. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a show you've kind of bolted together in the last couple of days. You haven't been working on it very hard. It's been simple, easy to do.
Kelly, they emailed me Friday. They just decided to come up with a
show.
We booked a room there.
You booked a room, yeah, at the Shadow or something.
24-hour done.
Yeah. All right. So tell us a little bit about. Tell Scott and me a little bit about how you got an event that even a month ago, had 20 sponsors and 200 tickets sold, and today you've got maybe 30 or 40 tickets left to sell out of 400. You've got almost 70 sponsors. Yeah. You've got an incredible script that you put 20 hours in and I put 18 in. I mean, you've got live. I mean, I don't want to tell you. You tell us.
Well, I think the biggest thing since I've been working with Exporium really is just taking all these different types of people and meshing them together in a really positive way. So at Exporium, our entrepreneur network, we hold different events. And so we've been trying to build on our events and host more than just the one we're most known for, which is the Bootstrap Awards. And so when Bruce wrote this book, one of his past students, Janet Alford from Prototype B, the movie maker, film director, I don't know what his real title is, he was inspired and really wanted to launch this new industry of movie making and really also film trailer movies for novels. So he asked Bruce if he could use the rights of his book and create this new genre, I guess, or this new industry. And that's how it all started. And we thought, we could do a really good benefit event for prototypeb.org, raise some money, hopefully, and really expose them because they do a lot of other really cool things with prototypeb.org as well. So that's how it first started. Then once we got all our brains together, we decided to make this more of an artistic entrepreneur event. And what is actually called is Artifex, the Professional Artist Gala that Ardero and Scott helped us brand. And so what it is it's really an event to expose and showcase the artistic entrepreneur and kind of show off and give them some credit for all of the work they do and how talented they really are. And we've reached out to local artists as well in the community, and we'll have about 15 to 20 different artists present actually showcasing and showing off some of their work in what we call Brevis galleries. So the spotlight artists for Artifex are, in fact, prototypeb.org, Janet Alford and his crew, and Bruce. He's going to launch his book that evening as well. But we also have a wide range of different artistic entrepreneurs that will be there, kind of getting some recognition. And that was, once I started connecting with the community, the art community in Ottawa, it was really evident to see, that there really aren't very many events that push the artistic entrepreneur. A lot of them were super excited right away when I spoke with them, up to do whatever to get their name out there and just meet new contacts, network, and show off some of the great talents they have.
And then, sorry to interrupt, but you bring up a good point, and this is one of the things that I wanted to ask you today, is that, from the concept of Exporium, I mean, it is an entrepreneur network, and it is meant to help companies start. And I think a lot of the times when we look at this concept of the entrepreneur and companies and the like, I think we immediately look at companies like high-tech firms or sort of the services-based companies, and I think a lot of people tend to forget about the artistic community as entrepreneurs and people that actually, add so much value to everything from, economy to culture to that type of thing. Yep. And what was the reaction really like from and not maybe not even reaction, but the relationship formed between these artists and Explorium, and how they view their artwork and how they view their business models?
Well, that's something we really want to expand with Explorium. We've had a lot of the artists that we've reached out to were somewhat random. We have a ton of companies that are in the are in our network, but with Explorium, it's about 80 or even 85% tech. So the artists that we have within our community, again, are somewhat tech and oriented as well.
Right.
So that's what we want to hopefully do in the future, and starting with Artifex, is really help these really artistic artists and super talented, but maybe don't have really any information in regards to business models and building their business model and getting more entrepreneurial in that sense.
Do you find there is somewhat of a separation between, we'll say, the artistic mindset and the entrepreneurial business mindset?
Definitely. It takes a very strange breed to have both. I think Janik has nailed that one. But not many people are like Janik in a good way. He's amazing, very brilliant. But even just speaking with some of the artists that are coming, it really opened up my eyes personally to see the talents they have and the lack of really the business side. Even some of the artists don't have a really good website out there that we could link things to and really expose them as they're coming to the event. We had one of the artists come in the other day and meet with Erica Godwin and I to go over her business plan, how she's even just going to present at Artifex, how to present her work, what would be the most effective way. And she does art that goes back to the Arctic history and stuff like that, to make it short. And she wants to actually start raising some money to expand her research and her art and actually go back to the Arctic, and even just working on sponsorship packages and getting your word out there and building really on your business, if that's what it is. She is mega talented and has a lot going for her, but she really needed help in that sense. And that's what we want to do at Explorium, right? We want to help these entrepreneurs, because that's what they are, and really give them the services that we can hopefully help them with.
I would like to say that, I've kind of gone to the dark side. I've gone over to the other side with the release of the novel on Wednesday, with the help of you guys, the film and everything else. I've become, more of an entrepreneur and artist, myself at 60. And one of the things this experience has taught me, without a shadow of a doubt, is that there's a reason why the average Canadian artist makes $22,000 a year. And the reason for that is, and I've only just found it out myself, is that you probably have to put as much effort into marketing your art as you do into creating it. And, most artists, and I would not be any different, I would rather be in my home office wearing my old beat-up, Florida Gator hat, at 3 o'clock in the morning writing book 2.
Yeah.
Than sending out 3,000 emails saying, would you like to come to the show, Artifact show. So, or it's a different type of work, and it's really hard. And,
it is.
Janik told me, our filmmaker told me that he has done twice as much work on the film as he did get his Master's of Architecture. And I said, well, Janik, I can one-up you. I've done twice as much work on quantum entity and artifacts than I did on my PhD.
Yeah.
So we think you should get a second master's degree. I should get a second PhD. But no, to all the artpreneurs or artist entrepreneurs, as Scott prefers to call them, and Jacqueline O'Callahan prefers to call them, to all those people out there, that is a lesson I have learned, that you do have to spend time. You can't just delegate that out to somebody. Okay, Theresia, you take care of sales. Okay, Scott, you take care of marketing, and I'll just go in the back and create great art.
No, exactly. And, that's what hopefully will benefit everyone that's involved here. The event is going to be an awesome networking event, if nothing else. With over about 400 tickets sold, we almost were like 15 to 20 shy of that.
Wow.
And then, it's just really getting out there and building some contacts and hopefully getting some help through Explorium.
So, Theresia, you should ask me what the schedule is for Wednesday night.
Yeah, what is going on? A lot of people ask that. They're like, so what is this Artifex thing? What's happening?
What is it? Okay. Well, I'm going to overstate the case. It is Ottawa's own South by Southwest.
Okay.
You know, South by Southwest in Austin, Texas is the number one, I think, one of the top anyway, tech shows, gaming shows, film and music shows in the world. It's a splendid show. So it is a complete overstatement. But Artifex is at least a step in that direction because we have artists, entrepreneurs, we have musicians coming, we have videographers, we have filmmakers coming. So if you look at South by Southwest, you look at what we're doing in 4 or 5 hours, and you look at what South by Southwest does in 8 days, you know, we're cramming a lot into 4 hours. So what we do is the doors open at the National Gallery of Canada at 6. Food and beverage service begins at 6:30. Around 7:15, our MC, Rob Woodbridge from Untethered TV, will ask everybody to go into the theater. So we're in the water court, and then after that, we go to the theater. The theater holds about 400 people, and we're going to have a concert by some wonderful, incredible, over-the-top musicians. We have young Carl Bray. He is a Nutrition Foundation Award winner. He won the Nutrition Foundation Award, and he's one of Canada's great young composers, and he's going to play Talk of Hands. We also have joining him Andres Del Castillo from the band 8 Seconds, and also R&D Creative, Melanie Cloutier, and balladeer Chris Bridges. So we're going to have some wonderful music. Then after that, there's a welcome from His Worship, the Mayor of Ottawa, Jim Watson, our ever-present, always present, and helpful mayor will say hello to everybody. Then our presenting sponsor, Jawad Rathor, from CEO of Fortress Real Capital, will say a few words welcoming everybody. We couldn't have done this event without our sponsors, and especially Fortress Real Capital, and also Scott DeVries from DeVries Wealth Management. We also are going to recognize explosive jazz vocalist Diane White, who's coming. And then we're going to introduce all of our, Brevis galleries, and I'll just read them out here. Hilda Lambrecht, Sandra Hawkins, Robin Andrew, Gene Smith, Sue Purley Robertson, Chris Manning, Victoria Van Eck, Sue Schuker, Pamela Ravick, Ryan Conrad, he's an emerging filmmaker, just 15 years of age, Claudia Salgura, if I murder the name, I apologize. Claudia will be there. Bruce Spur from At the Space. Jana Fox will also be there. So it's going to be an incredible group. And then, of course, we have Janik Alford and his film, and we will be seeing that film. There will also be some other videos that people can see, and 2 radio plays that the cast and crew, you were in on that, I think, Teresa, did. So we're going to do that as well. And then we have, at the very end of the show, we have a very special moment in Ottawa, but we can't tell anybody anything, right? It's a secret. Then after that is just a big party, and we just want everybody to come. It's classy casual, so you come as you feel most comfortable. If you want to wear a suit and tie, you can, but I'm not. How about you, Scott?
Oh, yes. I am suiting up for this event.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Is that sarcasm?
No, absolutely.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Well, it's classy casual, so come.
Bring your camera.
Bring your camera. Well, I
I
will be wearing a suit but no tie, and I guess Scott's going to one-up me with the tie.
I'm going to wear a dress.
You're going to wear a dress.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll look beautiful. We are going to do it inside the Actors Studio, so people who come to the event will have an opportunity to ask Director Janik Alford some questions. They'll meet all the cast, obviously Teresa, Jess Edwards, Julia Nolan.
We have a photo booth, too.
Oh, yeah?
Those are really popular.
What's happening there?
Well, these photo booths are really popular if you go to weddings or even big events, but it's a great way to capture the event. We have some really talented kids, I guess they're about 15, 16 years old, that are going to be playing the QEs, the quantum entities. So we're dressing them up, getting some makeup on them, and you can get your picture taken with live QE or casting crew. And we have a photo booth totally sponsored by Trip Photography, and they're going to capture the event really and get really cool photos so you can keep the memory with you.
So now, do we have any cool silent auction prizes? I mean, that people can bid on?
Yeah, I think silent auction really blew up. Actually, it's awesome. What we had is pretty much every artist that is present has donated a piece of their art to the silent auction. So really and super valuable as well. Beautiful art is going to be in the silent auction, which is of course appropriate. But we also have some donations by a lot of different companies here. Pirate Adventures offered us a business adventure package. You can take up to 42 people on a private cruise on their pirate ship there. And
that sounds like fun. Adults go, or is it just for kids?
Adults, probably would be adults mostly.
Really?
Kids go normally, so this is a special package they have going on.
Very good.
It would be a great.
So I can hold my sword and
Sure. Do you want me to take you on a trip on a pirate ship?
I do. I want my daddy here to take me on a trip.
We have an elegant 3-tier wedding cake by Dessert First.
Nice.
So if you're getting married.
You gotta be getting married.
Yes, I'll be bidding on that.
Okay. Tell us. Alex.
I wish.
Message for Alex Wolf.
We have 2 half suites at one of the Ottawa Senators games coming up.
Who gave that? Who donated that?
I don't really know. Some old guy.
Yeah. Me.
We have a 1-year health club membership, which is worth quite a bit.
That's at the Shadow, I think.
Yeah, executive fitness leader. So the Fairmont Chateau Laurier right downtown, they have a saltwater pool. It's the largest one in Ottawa.
And it's nice when somebody pays for you not to go to the gym for a year.
That's a really good.
That's a good line.
I'm gonna be bidding on that one. I think.
Okay. Well, you live there.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, you won't have to pay not to go to the gym.
Yeah, exactly. I won't feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
Very funny.
We have the Shotgun Show, 40% off, a Shotgun Show video by Carl Lombard.
What is the Shotgun Show?
He does these crazy about 3-minute interview shows, I guess, that go quite viral on the internet. He has these high-def cameras right in the front, 2 of them in the front seat of his car, and he'll stick you in the shotgun of his car and do an interview, whether you're CEO of a company or you're a fashion designer or artist or, launching something. Bruce did one for his book for Fundamentally, and they'll do some editing and they'll put it online through their channels, and they get quite a few hits.
So the
on
people
that.
could find YouTube Shotgun Show.
Shotgun Show, yeah. He has a ton of them.
Okay.
He is getting quite famous, I think. I saw he's tweeting a few pictures with some celebrities this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then will he be at Artifex so people
He will be at Artifex. He will hold a Brothers Gallery, so he's going to show off.
I think that because I did one, as you said, it was fun. Carl is one of the most charming, nicest men you're ever going to meet.
Cute little accent, too.
Cute little accent. You sit in his car, and he asks you really good questions, and then he edits a 3-minute video. It's really terrific. And they're not very expensive to do. So, if you're the CEO of a company, chief marketing officer, chief creative officer, you're launching a new product or service, it's a fun thing to do. But before we finish on silent auction items, Scott, you also have launched with Explorum.org a really exciting opportunity for people to rebrand their companies to get a world-class organization like Eyevero, EYEVERO. We'll take a call in a minute there. Can you tell us they can get for $2,500? I think.
Absolutely. What it was is that Explorium inspired us. It was one of those scenarios that we wanted to ensure that 7 years ago when I started the company, we really didn't have anyone to help us, and we really, it was one of those things that we had to sort of fight tooth and nail to get launched. And in this, trying to give back, it was one of those. Let's give people a world-class presence, if you would, in the sense of building them an infrastructure that can grow with their company and doing it at a subsidized price so that, we are actually eating the majority of the cost. So it's for $2,500.
I have to admit that
the package.
We got a $60,000 rebrand at Explorum.org by Eyevero, and because we're a not-for-profit organization, Scott was fantastic with us. We did pay for something. We're an entrepreneur organization, so we don't believe in something for nothing. But the value that we got, I'm a believer. So we have a caller, Teresa?
Yeah, let's take this.
All right. Hi, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Bruce, Scott. My name's Yavash. I run a small tech and fence company, and I actually struggle quite hard to generate leads for my company. I try to generate about 200 leads just to about 50, 60 sales. And Bruce, what blows me away is you're trying to sell hundreds of thousands of books, right? So that might be millions of leads that you have to generate. And what I'm intrigued about is how you plan on generating the leads to sell the books.
That is an excellent question, but I have a question for you, caller, for you, Siavash. Before I answer your question, I'm going to turn to Scott after me to answer your question. So we will answer your question, but I have a question for you first.
Sure, no problem.
All right. The question I have for you is, I think you were at the pre-screening of Janik Alpert's film last night.
Yep, that was a great event. Thank you for inviting me.
So I'm glad you were there. Can you tell us what you thought of the film?
I think Janik is quite brilliant. Because he adds an artistic spin to it, right? Like you see enough films out there, but what he did is he did like a little promo trailer for the book, and he just gave you enough spice with that movie for you to go ahead and want to read the book. He didn't tell you enough about the book. He just gave you fragments of it, and it really intrigues you to go ahead and read the book. So I think he did a fantastic job, and I think it would help the sales of QE a lot.
Okay, so Siavash, I think you just answered your own question.
Okay, I think I get it. So we're trying to make the video go viral.
I'm so glad you asked that question, because Scott and I looked at each other about a month or a month and a half ago, and you know, I have had some criticism, I guess you'd say, about where we're going with the marketing of both the film and the book. But there are a lot of gatekeepers in this industry. The gatekeepers in the publishing world, the gatekeepers in the film industry, the gatekeepers in the media. And most of the gatekeepers, as you know, are middle-aged people. And middle-aged people, some of them anyway, I'm a middle-aged person, I'm soon to be a senior in another 5 years, but middle-aged people often want to do things the way they've done them. They don't want to change. They want to continue to do what they've been doing because it's worked for them so far. Why change? But the publishing industry is probably changing faster than any industry out there, including the music industry. There's almost no industry I can tell you that is changing faster. So the opportunity is there for people like Janik Alpert at Prototype D, people like myself, to get on all major platforms: the Kobo, the Kindle, the iPad, the Nook. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of them. To get on Amazon, to be all across the internet, to engage through YouTube. We think this film is going to get over 1 million views on YouTube. To engage with people through Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. And the marketing is so transcendent, it's so worldwide that, say, for example, having an ad on, say, a local television station or a local radio station, or even having, a nice person from, a local paper, it's always nice to have them there. But is that going to create a worldwide avalanche of marketing support in this new world? And now let me turn that over to Scott.
Yeah, here's the interesting part, right, is that you're absolutely right. The publishing industry has changed greatly. The music industry has changed greatly. And what it's really come down to... And you had
a contract in the music industry. Well,
yeah,
I know the music industry. You're a musician.
I'm a musician. I have been since I was 15 years old. I've had a record deal. I've toured. I've done the whole thing. And the insight that you gain from that perspective into the all of these different types of media, it comes back down to what this book is about and sort of the platform of the book and who the target demographic is, which dictates the marketing. Is that we decided, when Bruce and I even first met and we discussed this book, and it was that cold winter's day, that we realized that it is not just a book. It is a movie. It is a trailer. It is a social media scenario in which people can almost contribute in real time to the I don't know what you would call it, the megaverse of what is.
Yeah. The megaverse, perfect.
So it's all of those things combined that I think, and not just even about quantum entity, but I think in general, artists in this world don't have to rely on record companies, publishers, or anything anymore. The power has very much been taken away from those entities, and which is why we see the publishing industry crumbling, the music industry crumbling. But it's yet music and art and everything is still very much alive and very much prominent in everyone's lives across this planet, and it is merely because we now have the tools at our disposal that used to be only allotted to those type of companies, and now it's been brought down to a personal level. So that's how we're marketing this book, is that we're very much just taking that modern approach through everything from social media to web presence to reaching out to those that also advocate, scenarios like bloggers, all those type of things, in which we've created our own international marketing network with absolutely no help, if you would, from quote-unquote publishers and the powers that be. So all of those gatekeepers that Bruce has mentioned, I think in a lot of ways we've really given them a bit of a black eye, in the sense that we have done something that is, indicative of even, the independent music scenes of like the 1980s and things, where there was everything from touring networks to shows to everything, all under the nose of major record labels that had no idea what was going on. We've done the exact same thing in this particular case with models. So
yeah.
Okay, I think that was a good answer, Scott, and I think we're done there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we've got about another 3 minutes left on the show, and I'm just going to kind of ask you, Theresia, what are you doing the day after Artifex?
I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Probably a lot of closing stuff. The event is never done right after the day, but Thursday I'm taking the day off. And maybe
I don't know why anybody would give you a day off.
Because I actually go to the gym that I pay for. And
so you're
do
the
some
person.
yoga. I think I'm going to do some yoga.
Yeah, okay.
And just, I can't really sit still. I say I'll sit still, but I won't.
Yeah.
So you won't be working, even though you'll be attached to your phone working, is what you're saying.
You're
just not working from the office.
Yeah, I'll be working from...
You'll be sending me emails from the treadmill as always.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
So just in case anybody's wondering, explorem.org will not be open on Thursday. The staff
Don't call me.
Don't call. We're going to close the office and then get on with the rest of our lives starting Friday. When we got the franchise way back 20 years ago, the Ottawa Senators franchise, we did have a nice all-night party. We just won an NHL franchise for our hometown, and it was an exciting moment. But we got on a plane the next day, flew to Montreal, came back to Ottawa, and did our season ticket campaign and collected $22.5 million in cash in the next 10 days as we sold our season tickets.
I'd work on Thursday if we collected $22 million.
For $22 million, Theresia will show up.
I'll work.
Scott, what's your plan after Artifex?
Marketing the other 150 companies that we have on the roster right now, trying to push
the paying company.
Yeah, there you go. And as well as I just got an email, supposedly we're launching yet another campaign, I think, through you guys probably that Thursday or Friday again, at least the planning stage, so it rolls up next week. So.
Oh, perfect. Well, one of the things that I have to say in the short time that I've got left is I want to thank everyone who has worked so hard on this. Erica Godwin, Alex Wolf, Theresia Scholtes, Scott Williams, my partner here on the Firestone Williams Report. I want to thank Siavash Naruzian for calling in and for being a good friend, Janik Alford for the incredible work that he's done there with Camille Mendoza and many, many others, Jeff Crace and others. The help and support I got from Claire Harrison, who's a novelist, and Sharon Buckingham, a screenwriter, who sometimes I thought I was maybe creating something that was a piece of crap, and they told me, no, keep going. My editor, Murray McGregor, who is a real gentleman, and put up with me 20 rewrites, or more than 20 rewrites, which is one of the essential ingredients to producing a good piece of fiction. There are so many people I have to thank: Jess Edwards, Julia Nolan, the rest of the cast.
And if you want to attend Artifex and see what we're talking about,
better put that
go
in.
to www.explorem.org, exploriem.org/Artifex. That's ARTIFEX.
Now the last word has to go to Scott. We got 15 seconds left, Scott. Who named Artifex?
We did.
And why was it named?
Because we thought it was a good name.
It's fabulous.